So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom and an update on some of my recent painting projects. Been a little while since I did one of these. Don't know why, just seem to have a lot of other videos to do. So as a result, this one's going to be a bit of a long one because I have to say it's been a fairly productive period since the last update, and I'm not going to include things like the NKVD, who I did the separate video, or the bridge that I did the separate video on. But that said, you will see some of the figures that I've shown off in photographic form anyway on the Monday Night Plastic Crack podcast. If you haven't come along and listened to the live stream that we do, me with Ken from Miniature Wargaming Warriors, Martin from Seventh Son, and Steve from On Point HQ, you'd be very welcome every Monday, 8 PM UK time. Anyway, enough of that. Let's talk about the figures. These are my Brunswick Uhlans. Brunswick Lancers. They're Perry miniatures. I mentioned before, I'm in the process of, well, pretty much finished now, building a Brunswick sharp practice force. And I love Lancers. I don't know why. I think growing up as a kid, watching all those Sunday morning movies and remembering films of the Charge of the Light Brigade and the Lancers going down the Valley of Death. I just loved Lancers, always have done. Sadly, the British Army in the Napoleonic period didn't have any Lancers, but some of their allies did, so Brunswick's being one. Now, they only had a squadron of them, but it's still a good justification for putting one together. So this is 12-man unit. Don't know, I probably wouldn't use 12, certainly for sharp practice you don't use all 12. But I did 12 just purely because if I play black powder, it depends. Sometimes we play 6, sometimes we play 8, sometimes we play 12, depending on the table size. So at least if I've got the 12, it's easy. Still got to finish off the movement trays. These only just came the other day. They're from war bases. I've just sprayed them green, but I need to do some flock around them so they don't stand out quite starkly from the figures. But yeah, the Lance was great fun to do. Really nice figures, as you always get from Perry's. You've got well, three regular troops, but this guy's got the NCO. This one's got the NCO with this one, and then the trumpeter and the commander. I got the pennants from GMB. Don't know. I think they add something. I think they definitely add something. So really pleased to have the Lancers joining the Brunswick forces, ready to deal with the dastardly Frenchies in the 100 Days campaign. So many people who have watched my videos or listened to me on the Plastic Crack have know that I'm seriously excited about the upcoming Napoleonic supplement for muskets and tomahawks. It's called Shakos and Bayonets. Covers the Napoleonic period. It's out. No, it's up for pre-sale now. If you can go to North Star, I know, do it. There's a couple of other places who've got it. You can pre-order the rules if you're interested, and the dice and the not dice, the cards that go with it. Anyway, I like muskets and tomahawks too. I'm really interested and excited by muskets and tomahawks for the Napoleonic period. And one of the sort of leaked pictures, or sort of teased pictures, should we say, of the upcoming supplement was some images of the retreat from Moscow, so snow figures, and I thought, it just, I don't know what it was, it just caught me. I've been thinking about doing a Russian army for some time, and I thought, bam, that's what I want. So I bought some miniatures from Front Rank, who are extremely good, extremely reasonable price for metal figures. These are metals. I got them all in sort of winter garb, and these are the Jaeger groups, so 2 groups of 6 Jaeger, which would probably be all on it. I mean, obviously I'm building it without knowing, but then I know roughly what the composition of the other version of the rules give you. So I think if I go for 2 groups of 6, that should give me enough to start with at least. Oops, for this force. The really nice figures. I do like Front Rank. If I could afford to do an entire army in metal, I would choose Front Rank, I think, because they're actually very good value for metal. And they do these regimental boxes and bags, which make them even better value. But I think it's still just a little bit much when you're doing hundreds of figures. When you're doing a sort of sharp practice, muskets and tomahawk size army, these are not so bad. Or just adding a unit to your army, I think these are pretty good value. They're quite chunky figures and they paint up really, really nicely. So you can see I've done them in greatcoats, mixed bag of greatcoats to be honest. I didn't want them to have uniformity of that sort of thing. I wanted them to have a bit of difference, and you'll see with the line infantry coming in a minute, I've done the same. So some of them have got foraging caps on, some of them have got covers on the Shakos, some have not, some have got different coloured greatcoats, just to give that sort of on-campaign look. And I think I might put some snow flock on those movement trays. Don't know, I need to work through in my head whether that'll just look too much or not. But I just spray painted some, I think these again are army, no, don't know whose bases those ones are, but anyway, you can pick these up all over the place, but I just spray painted them white to give the winter effect. So you've seen the Russian Jaegers, and here's the Musketeers, or the Fusiliers, the line troops for the Russian force. 3 groups of 8, as you can see, which should be more than enough for a good-sized muskets and tomahawk game. Again, these are front ranks. Again, I went for the all the figures in sort of greatcoats. Bit of variety in the tones I've used with them, just to sort of break that up. I've got the command group at the front here with the drummer and 2 officers and 2 standard bearers. These flags are actually the free ones you can download from War Flags. I think they work pretty well. I mean, they're not the crispest flag in the West, but they'll do nicely. So yeah, really pleased with this unit. I think it's one of the nicest I've done. It painted up really quickly. All these Russians painting up so quickly. I mean, the beauty of doing things in greatcoats is you don't have all those fiddly bits. You just slap the colour on and then do a bit of highlight, a bit of wash and then a bit of highlights, and Bob's your auntie. So yeah, really pleased. They've all got gloves on as well, which means you don't have to worry about the skin tone on the hands, which is also makes the job a lot easier. But yeah, front rank figures, can't go wrong, I think, for metals. Really, really good. And that's the squaddy's done for the unit. So you've got to have a gun, haven't you? This is a Warlord's metal gun. It's a 6-pounder light gun. It's a nice little model, actually. I quite enjoyed painting it. It was good fun. The crew members are a bit underdressed for a winter scene, but yeah, it's hard work working a gun, right? It's hard work working a gun. So actually, this was part of. I am going to build a proper black powder Russian army, and in preparation to that, I've been collecting figures, and I bought one of the battery packs you can get from Warlords. They sell 3 guns. I think they're £30 the pack, but if you shop around, you can get that. I mean, I managed to go onto the Warlords eBay shop, where if you buy 2 things that are on sale in their shop, you get 10% off, and then there was also another 20% off. So these ended up being something like £25 for a battery of 3 guns, and I also bought 3 12-pounders. Now I'm planning to use the 12-pounders in the main army, but I'll probably only use 2 of the 3 guns in the of the light guns. So I thought, well, I've got a spare light gun, so I based this one up to play Shakos and bayonets, or muskets and tomahawks, whatever you like. Now that I don't know how many crew in muskets you need. In shop you need 5 crew members, so I'm going to have to order a separate crew member from somewhere, probably a front rank one, just to paint up. So I've got that extra crew member. I've based the crew separately. Now you can put them on the base, that sort of thing, but I mean, for those sort of rules, it doesn't really matter how close the figures are to the gun. It's not like a template of a bolt action or anything, so I've sort of just, maybe they're a bit too spaced out, but I just That's the way I did it. That's the way I did it. Anyway, nice gun. Nice to have it ready. And it sort of rounds off the Russian force. So talking about rounding out the force, these are the Russian commanders for this army. This is again, all three of them are front ranks. These are the two dismounted infantry in great coats. That actually, I think they're pretty much the same as you get in the infantry pack. And a mounted general in great coats. So he'll be the overall commander. I think this one will lead the Jaegers, and this one will be a sort of secondary man for the column of troops. Again, not much more to say about them. They're really nice front rank miniatures. I've painted them up as wintry as I could get them. I've shown these broken wheels. I can't even remember where I got them from now, but I picked up a pack of them somewhere, and I just used them on some of the bases occasionally, which just makes it look a bit different. The box is a bit of battle debris pack that I had just kicking around that I hadn't got around to painting before, so I stuck that down because although I think it was the Second World War one, you can't tell the difference. It's just a wooden box with an iron band around it, which could be an ammo box for this period as well. So really pleased with this force. Came together incredibly quickly. I think I did pretty much the entire force in, well, less than a week. It just was so easy to do, so quick. And I've really got into the swing of painting Napoleonics, particularly troops in greatcoats. It's so much easier. So there you go. So next up, something a little bit different. This is a building from Hovels, UK, or Hovel Buildings. Really old manufacturer of terrain and buildings. They are resin. See here, solid resin. And actually very good value indeed. I'll put the price underneath because I can't remember what it is now. But I rediscovered these. Now these have been going since the 80s and 90s. I remember them from that sort of period and thinking, wow, they're lovely buildings, but I can't afford them. But actually, when I now look at them compared to MDF buildings, they're actually very affordable. And I think I prefer them because I struggle with MDF. There's some lovely ones out there, but they're hard to assemble for fat-fingered people like me, and I find painting them a little bit awkward, whereas these guys come with lots of character built into them because they're modelled that way. So this is an English country house. It's quite small. Most of their buildings, they say, are 25 to 28. Now they fit all right for 28mm, but see if I put this guy. I mean, he's not massively out of scale, but he's a little bit big for that house. So a bit of advanced notice of a figure I'm painting. Can you tell me what period that was? Anyway. So yeah, but I don't mind it for these solid buildings because I'm probably going to use these on battlefields where they're going to be part of a sort of an area that's supposed to be built up, and I'm not actually going to try and put figures in them anyway because that's why I've got the solid ones. So this way it can sort of represent a built up area, which is perfect for me, or it will just be part of the scenery, in which case it won't really matter either. So slightly small in this case, but fits in nicely. Some of the other buildings I've got from them, and I'll show them on another video, are actually bigger, but this one's a bit small. But a real joy to paint up. Only took me like I think the drying time took longer than the actual painting. It was so quick to do. Kept it really simple, as I imagined a sort of ramshackle countryside cottage would look like. Lots of ivy growing up the outside of it. It's a lovely model. Really enjoyed doing it. I'm definitely going to get some more hovel buildings to bolster out my collection. So next up, slightly weird figures that I've got in the stash. I showed you some of the hoplites I had that were in the stash, and alongside them were these metal figures. Now I think these are footsore, and I think they are Mystic Gods? Mortal Gods figures. I believe I may have picked them up during one of their Kickstarters for a sort of more mystical version of Mortal Gods. This guy, certainly look at the size of him compared to the other four, sorry. Absolutely massive. They're very classical sort of style Greeks. I don't really know that I'll use them, if I'm honest. I bought them because I thought they looked interesting. I'll probably sell them. I think I'll probably sell them because I've got loads of Greeks and these don't really fit in the style of the armies I've got. But they're nice to get done, and it was quite fun to get them painted up. I know Kaiser was saying, why, if you're selling things, do you paint them? And I just think, for me, it's just almost that completed the job, move on. Even if I sell them later, it's, you know, it's completed. So good to get them out the stash. I don't know yet what I'll do with them. I may sell them yet. I may hold on to them. I don't know. You can never have too many figures, can you? So this is Hughes de Pays, the first Templar Knight. This is one of those giants in miniatures, exclusive figures you can get from Wargames Illustrated. I say exclusive, I mean anybody can buy them, but the fact is they only make 500 of them and then they break the moulds, so they'll never be reproduced. I've got a few of these in my range. They just added a bit of novelty, a bit of difference, nice for officers or special characters and things like that. And to be honest, I'm not quite sure I'm going to use this. He may just join the Norman army that I've been collecting, because he's sort of the right period. But he's just such a nice figure. I was ordering some stuff and I just saw it and I thought, yeah, I'll have that. Comes with certificate. This is number 97 of 500. So really nice model. I think in the latest Wargames Illustrated there's an article about him and showing a scenario involving him. I don't know much about him. I haven't read that article yet. But it's a lovely figure and I really enjoyed doing it. Got a real brooding presence to him. And came out very nicely indeed. So that's him done. So into the category of figures I'm not sure I like or don't like comes these fellas. These are French Indian War figures from AWI Miniatures. I got them on a Kickstarter. I don't know what I think about them. They are very, very chunky. They were actually quite fun to paint up. I'm not sure they really fit with my figures, so I don't know what to do with them really. So this is supposed to be General Braddock on his horse here. This guy is supposed to be General Wolfe, and this is supposed to be Major George Washington. I'm not sure any of them are particularly flattering for their supposed historical counterparts. But they were fun to do, and they didn't take an awful long time to paint up. I've got a small French Indian War army which I use for muskets and tomahawks, so I'll probably put them in the pile. See if I need any extra officers or figures within that. Don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Whether you think they're any good. This guy was a leftover figure. I think was an extra figure from a previous Kickstarter that I got from AWI, which was a guy in real heavy winter get-up. In fact, he has got snowshoes on, but I've hidden them because I didn't want to put him in snow. But I just thought he could go on the base of the general. He's got his musket covered. He's actually really quite a good character figure, I think. Again, very, very big and chunky. But yeah, nice to get them done. I got a chance to use that new wash that I use on reds again, which I think pops it, makes it look really good. And the scale 75 red, which I really like using as well. So anyway, it's 4 figures out of the stash and painted up, which is good. So finally, this is a group of 6 Frontiersmen for the French Indian Wars. These were actually what I bought into on that Kickstarter I was just talking about from AWI. Again, the same issue with them slightly. They're very, very chunky. Very chunky. But they weren't that expensive, and I thought I'd give them a punt. I don't know. I mean, sometimes you just can't have enough figures for American War. I mean, these could play American War of Independence as much as they could do French Indian Wars. So if they're in a big block of militia, then fantastic. Doesn't really matter. But again, they were fun to paint up. I kept them very colour neutral. lots of browns and greys and blacks and what have you, just to sort of show that sort of, in my imagination, what a frontiersman would look like. And I'm quite pleased with the result. They'll be okay. I'm not quite sure they'll be a feature unit like my frontiersmen tend to be. I've got some really nice other figures that I use for that, brigade game ones for instance, that are absolutely brilliant. And actually brigade games beside these figures will be like chalk and cheese, because the brigades are quite skinny, these are quite chunky. So maybe these have just had an exceedingly good winter, lots of trapping of elks and feeding well, I don't know. But nice enough figures, and they're done. So there you go, that's what I've been up to. Lots of painting, lots of figures produced, which I'm really pleased with, so always satisfying. And as we come to, seems to be the final stages of the lockdown here in the UK, might even start to get some gaming in, so I expect the painting to drop off as life generally comes back to normality and actually can go out and do some things. So it's nice to have a good burst towards the end just to sort of clear some of the figures, because I fully expect things to slow down a fair bit, because frankly I'm going to go off and do stuff that I haven't been able to do for the last year, and go off with my wife and my family to do things, and I certainly suggest you do the same. Also, hopefully I'll get a bit of face-to-face gaming in. Initially it's going to be behind, in the open, so it's going to have to be warm days and nights, otherwise it's not going to happen, but it won't be long before we can hopefully go indoors and play again, under certain restrictions I'm sure there'll be. But anyway, enough kerfuffle. I've really enjoyed getting these figures done. Hope you enjoyed looking through them with me, and hope they inspired you to keep on with your projects and keep bashing out those figures. Anyway, hope you're well, hope you stay well, hope your projects are going well, lots of wells. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Hit the notification so you know when I'm putting stuff up, because hopefully if we start gaming again, I'll start filming some battle reports again, and lots of other goodness coming through the channel, hopefully in the coming weeks and months. So stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you again soon. This is Dom signing out.